Today, we're headed to the one place on Earth where cows, UFOs, and government secrets all collide. Roswell, New Mexico.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you.
Power of Christ.
This is
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants, and I can't wait to get into this because, we got all sorts of secrets that are going to come out and be revealed. Not really good. Wish we
He
did.
doesn't have to confirm
Nor deny.
nor deny.
Zach, how's it going, bud?
I am a meat popsicle.
Okay. Lindy, how are you doing? It's been a while.
I'm here. How are you?
Okay. The Todd, how are we doing?
The Todd abides.
All right. It's been a while since all four of us were on the same episode at the same time. So, of course, we're going to talk about aliens.
Well, I'm not going to talk about demons. I know that, Matt.
No,
So,
let's not do that.
Speaking of which, how's all that going?
Fine.
Sleeping okay?
Yeah.
Eating regular, sleeping indoors?
Yeah.
Keeping
Sleeping in my
the-
car?
Keeping the demons away.
Sleep in my car a few times since then. Yeah. I'm all right.
All right. Lindy, what's
Except
new?
my air conditioner quit working. I think
Uh-oh.
that's more of the gremlins or whatever they
I
call
think it's
them.
the work of the devil.
Air conditioner in my truck's fine. I
Okay.
shouldn't have said anything. Where's the wood?
Okay.
Lindy, what's
I said, Lindy, how's it going? What's going on? What's new?
lots of stuff. We won't get into it, but I am wearing another Halloween sweater.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
it's
Would you look at it? Look at it.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Speaking of that, I did see that the Todd's just looking around. We'll skirt past that. Well, the cereals, the Halloween cereals are out because Boo Berry. Yeah.
All of them are out. They even put the original Friends one back out. All
Wow.
four of them.
Oh, okay.
Show me them boo
I
berries.
bet. Yeah, I bet they didn't do Fruity Yummy Mummy, or no. Yeah, there was Fruity Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute, and I haven't seen Fruit Brute since.
Fruit Brute is back. The Mummy is not.
Okay.
But they did bring out Carmelita
Yeah, I seen there
or
was a new one.
Carmela or something. I can't remember it.
Yeah, because we gotta. I don't know. I'm gonna stay out of that anyway. You know where I'm going. You know what I'm
Todd,
thinking.
I think you should show them.
Show me yours, I'll show you mine, kind of sitch.
Please.
Show us, Todd. Show us.
This is the first time in my life I have ever, been openly called out to show my. What do you want me to show them?
You know what I want you to show them.
No.
No,
Fine.
he says no.
Fine.
No means no.
Fine.
Moving along.
Moving along.
It's mine. Oh my.
I know.
Is it your?
Yes. Very much.
All right. All right.
So for those of you out of the loop, we'll just clue you in. Lindy got me a big poster of Sasquatch with a raccoon covering up his winger,
Yep.
and I
He's
in
got
the
the
after
huge
talks
thing.
was talking about, I think they did a Peter Steele one of that. So she got me a drawn picture of Peter Steele from his Layout and Playgirl with his big veiny fucking dick.
Okay. It wouldn't be
Way to go,
authentic. if
Lindy.
it-
And quite literally, all I had in my head was Zach. Oh, he's got a huge winger.
Lindy, you
Yeah,
get
I
a golf
did.
clap for that one.
Mhm.
I did
Very
it.
well done.
I
played.
did it.
Well played.
Little does she know that she has now ignited the fire.
Uh-huh.
The flame is on. The grease is getting warmed up. Paybacks are coming.
Hope you realize this means war.
I'm ready.
What is the
Ish.
penises? The huge wangers.
I don't think mine's going to be penises.
It was the Hunger War.
Oh. Anyway.
All right.
Get like a 10-foot painting of the China spread and Playboy or something.
I don't want to picture that. I'm
Nope,
not closing my
but
eyes
you know, I did
anytime
do
soon.
a cast of my butthole, so you know who knows.
Ask me about my butthole.
Speaking of cereal, here's your bowl.
and the best part about it is it's gonna be Dutch chocolate. So I hope you like eating my ass.
Todd's gonna have his own poop emoji
Oh boy.
in marshmallow form.
Things are
All
going
right,
well.
let's get started with some aliens.
Oh yeah. Since we're talking about my butthole, now we're gonna
No.
transition
Yeah.
to aliens.
No,
Right
it's been
in
too
there.
long. Show me the
We didn't
poster.
say anything about Matt's butthole.
No, there's nothing to see here.
It's not what they said. Anyway,
Okay.
so back in July, I think it was July 2nd, 1947. All right, picture this. There's a vast, empty expanse of land stretching out for miles and miles, broken only by the occasional cluster of ranches. The night sky above is pitch black, and there's violent thunderstorms rolling through across the plains. Probably the most violent storm that's been through that region in 10 years. In the middle of the storm, William Mack Brazel, Mack to his friends. He's a rancher working for the Foster Ranch. He hears this loud explosion, or
Wait,
maybe
wait.
it's just a.
Mac was working for a foster ranch.
That's correct.
What did they foster at this foster
Okay.
ranch?
Yeah, I see where he's
I
going.
think it was a sheep farm there. Man, he liked the
right.
sheep. I like it when they go. Bah.
Okay. Well,
All right,
No
you
still
ready?
means
got,
no.
had to get my
What does
first one
bah
in.
mean now?
Carry on.
All right.
Yeah, it's 1 for no, 2 for yes.
It's just open to interpretation, really, at that point.
All right. So Mac hears this loud explosion, or maybe this crash, echoing through the hills. But with the intensity of this storm that's going on, he doesn't think much of it at first. But the next day, July 3rd, it's turns hot and dry again. It's usual for New Mexico. So he sets out with the sheep to kind of inspect the land. He's going about his business, and he stumbles across something quite unusual.
He took the sheep with him.
He's a sheep. He's grazing all these animals, dude. He's going out to let them graze. It's like
That
open
seems
range.
a little strange and odd.
He's got an odd attachment to them. They have a very odd relationship.
Okay, we'll say it's cows then. Better? Better? Okay.
I ain't never fucked a cow. I don't know.
What about the sheep, Todd? Are they not that bad?
Hey, you know why I don't ask sheep for consent? Because I always do them on the edge of a cliff. They always push back.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
That's why I bought Northerners.
So as he goes out to inspect the land, he sees scattered across this very wide area are bits of debris that, they're hard to ignore. It's like it's not like anything he's ever seen on the ranch before. And at first glance, it looks like it's a bunch of, like tinfoil and just debris. But as he gets closer to it, it becomes clear this isn't like junk. And there's something strange about all this material. It's too lightweight to be scrap metal, but it's incredibly durable.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these fragments appear to be metallic, but they're flexible, almost like tinfoil, is how he described it. Except no matter how much he tries, he can't tear it, bend it, and it won't burn. And there's more. Some of these pieces There are small beams or sticks, which seem pretty ordinary at first, but they're covered in all these bizarre, almost hieroglyphic type markings, or some sort of foreign script that he can't know. You know, it's like it's some. He's like, well, this must be some foreign language I don't know. So keep in mind, this is 1947.
Yeah.
Flying saucers, UFOs, they're not part of any of the mainstream yet, but they're about to be.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the newspapers and radio stations across the country are starting to report strange sightings. You know, this same time to spotted zipping through the sky at impossible speeds.
Not bad.
The term flying saucer is on the verge of becoming a household phrase. I think it was used maybe a month before when this pilot saw a group of craft when he's flying around the mountain that he described as saucer-like. So that's where the term.
Volante.
Yeah. So Brazel doesn't know what he's looking at, but he knows that whatever this is, it doesn't belong on a ranch in New Mexico. So he starts to think practically about this. You know, is it a weather balloon, some experimental aircraft that crashed during the storm?
Swamp gas.
Swamp gas. But as he handles this strange material, none of the logical explanations make sense. And the more he inspects it, the more questions he has. So he gathers up as much of this material as he can, goes in his truck, but it's not until July 6th that he finally decides to head into town to share what he's found.
Would you guys, seriously, would you guys do that if you found something like that? Would you be calling the authorities, or would you try to get as much of it as you could and stash it away somewhere? Because once they're there, it's all gone. They're taking everything, right?
Yeah, it's true, but I mean,
Todd doesn't know.
Radiation and all that other good stuff. I don't want that.
Yeah, I
hanging
don't
around.
think I would do, and I don't think I would collect it.
I
And
don't
I
think I'd touch
certainly,
it, to be honest with you.
yeah, that's how every horror movie starts ever.
Yeah.
I'm only going to offer up this. Okay. We have talked about many things like Operation Paperclip, and we all know who was the biggest part of our space exploration rocket program. All these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
This literally happens just a few months shy of 2 years after the end of World War II. When
And
we're at the height of, you know, the bells and all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
going into Cold War territory right here.
But no. Just, I'm talking all of the German scientists, all of the great things, all of the occult issues, all of this. And all of a sudden, here we are, because I think it was like September of 45 when World War II was officially ended. Okay? And here we are, July, just shy, a few months shy of 2 years later, and all of a sudden we've got spacecraft, flying saucers. Yeah, you put it together.
You're just saying the Germans make good quality stuff, I feel.
They make shit fucking cars, but yeah, man.
Oh,
Spacecraft,
BMW.
we're all about it.
BMW is not bad.
I mean, there might still be some Volkswagens running in Antarctica. Who knows?
All right. Moving along. Stay on target.
Is Mercedes? Mercedes is German, right?
Mercedes-Benz is German, yes.
I'd take an AMG Mercedes. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So Mac has this truckload of debris and makes his way into Roswell, ready to report this strange crash site. Little did he know, though, he had stumbled upon the beginning of what would soon be known as the Roswell Incident, a story that would fuel conspiracy theories for decades to come.
Still does, I feel. Not as bad anymore.
Not as bad anymore, no. But his involvement isn't over yet. What he would soon discovered was that the government had a keen interest in what he was found, and that they were prepared to keep the truth hidden at all costs. Dun dun dun.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me your ideas on what they conspire.
So there's Mack Brazel. He's sitting on this pile of mysterious debris that he's dragged off the ranch. He's not real sure what it is, where it's from. These strange pieces of metal that won't crumble, this lightweight foil that seems to be indestructible, and all these metal beams marked with all these symbols. They're unlike anything he's ever seen. So July 6th, he's, had this material for a few days, and he's been hearing more and more stories about these flying saucers in the news, including a widely reported sighting from just a few weeks earlier on June 24th. That's when Kenneth Arnold claims to have seen the 9 shiny objects flying in formation near Mount Rainier, Washington, and that's where the term flying saucer came from. So he's not real sure what this is, and he's not exactly rushing, into judgment about it. He's lived a pretty quiet life as a rancher. He's far from the hustle and bustle of Roswell, and he's not a UFO chaser. But after hearing this buzz and with this strange record sitting in the middle of his field, he figured it was time to get some answers. So he's going to take the record into town, report it to the local authorities. So when he arrives in Roswell, he heads straight to the office of Sheriff George Wilcox. And Wilcox, being a practical man, looks at it, and even he is puzzled when Brazel unloads all this material. And he's like, what the hell is this? What have you brought me? It's not farm equipment. It's not a plane crash.
How good of
any that I've ever seen.
How good of farm equipment would that make, though? If that was like your disc. It won't break, but it'll bend. So if it hits a rock, it'll just crumple and then go right back to where it should be. Man, that's ultimate right there.
It's like a lightsaber.
Yeah.
So Wilcox listened to Brazel's account and inspects the debris. But he knows that, okay, this is bigger than me. This is over my head. I'm not equipped to deal with this sort of thing. And he doesn't want to make any rash assumptions. So
We better call the government.
something like that. Yeah, he makes a call that will forever change the course of the story, and he contacts the Roswell Army Airfield. Specifically, its intelligence office to report the strange finding.
How'd this farmer get that number?
No. This is the sheriff that called.
Oh, okay.
Farmer doesn't even have a phone.
Okay.
Farmer doesn't even have electricity.
Yeah, all right.
So, enter Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer at the Roswell base, who becomes a central figure in this incident. He's quickly briefed on the situation and wastes no time getting involved. When the word reached him that a rancher had found some sort of wreckage that he doesn't seem to think is from any aircraft or known technology, his curiosity is piqued. Like I said before, this is the height of the Cold War. Any unusual material could be of interest, possibly connected to Soviet technology. So he thinks, okay, we should probably have this first before anybody else does. So next day, July 7th, Marcel and Captain Sheridan Cabot, an officer with the Counterintelligence Corps, they drove out to Brazel Ranch to get a first-hand look, and when they arrive, they see this debris field for themselves. And the records.
I just want to make one very clear point here, and I'm not. None of the people that show up to investigate this at any point in time are engineers or aviation experts. Okay.
No.
Point taken.
Okay, just putting that
Okay.
No. Yet. This debris field stretches for over a mile. There are pieces of glass in the sand in spots from it because of the heat from this thing.
like when lightning hits sand.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's scattered for several feet at a time. And that's pretty odd. It doesn't. We're not talking about going down. We're talking about going, across.
Along with the
Brazel described the material looking like nothing he'd ever encountered before. And he picked up a piece of this material that, appeared to be metallic foil, only to discover that it returned to its original shape no matter how much he fucked with it. Like he'd crumple it up in a ball and it would just go right back to its form that it was before. He said it was incredibly light, resilient, and he thought these symbols etched into the beams gave off an eerie, odd quality, almost alien. So he carefully collects samples of this debris, knowing very, very well that it's probably something very important, maybe even groundbreaking. He doesn't know what he's dealing with. Perhaps an experimental aircraft, some sort of foreign technology. He's not sure, but he knows it's something special. And he notices that when it hit the ground, whatever it was, it didn't just, whatever this thing was, it didn't crash. It literally, it disintegrated.
Oh.
Like it wasn't like a typical plane crash.
I was picturing a disc skipping across the sand for a while, but this just hit and just.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the rancher's story, the condition of the material, and the timing, it all seems a little too strange for him to ignore. So he gathers up what he can, loads into his vehicle, and he's going to take it back to the Roswell base for closer examination. And on the way back, he's, kind of turning over all the possibilities over in his mind, okay, what if this isn't from Earth? What could that mean? What's the government going to do about this? And it's also important to remember that Roswell Army Airfield wasn't just any base. It's home to the 509th Bomb Group. Correct, Todd?
He's shaking his head, yes.
And that's the only military unit in the world at that time equipped with nuclear bombs.
Okay.
The fact that the wreckage was discovered so closely to this critical military installation would have heightened the urgency of his investigation.
Yeah.
So, by the end of that day, he had returned to base with the debris in tow, ready to brief his superiors. He had no idea about
pretty short briefing, I bet.
What was about to go down, or that it would become the foundation of it is the conspiracy of the 20th century.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how it went down. Dun dun dun.
It's the debriefing. It's just yeah, here's all this stuff. We have no idea.
And
now you're up to date.
I'm generalizing this quite a bit because we could spend 4 hours on this if you wanted to,
Probably.
but I don't feel like we need to. He didn't actually go directly to the base. I think he went home because he got home. He got back late. He went home. He pulled some of this shit out of the car. He took it in, put it on his kitchen table, and he woke his wife and his kid up. And he's like, "Check this shit out."
Okay.
And after his death, his kid was on record saying, "My dad didn't get excited about anything. That's the most excited I'd ever seen him in his entire life." And they were just banging away at this shit, crumpling up this metal on the table. And he said it was almost like liquid because it would just form right back to where it was at before. So
Terminator 2.
Yep. Something like that. Todd, would you care to make a statement? No. Okay. Are you sure?
Nope. I wouldn't care to. Do it anyway.
If you can remember the Star Trek movie where they, had to go get the whales back in time.
Yeah.
They needed to find something to build tanks to transport these whales, and Scotty ends up giving a formula for a certain thing to these people to make them rich enough to want to give them all the supplies they need.
Oh, okay. Kind of smell where you're going there.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going, you fucking Star Trek nerd.
That's that's not a statement. That's just a
Observation from a show.
gee whiz.
Oh, golly, gee, Wally. Okay. So by the next day, this material found by Brazel had made its way into the Roswell Army Airfield, sorry, where Major Jesse Marcel had handed it over for analysis.
Nailed
And at
it.
this point, the military is taking things seriously. So what happens next? No one could have predicted. It's July 8th, 1947, and the military is about to drop a bombshell on the public. Early that morning, they decide to release an official statement to the press, something that would change the course of history and ignite decades of speculation. The public information officer at the base, Walter Haut, is tasked with writing the press release, and it boldly states that the U.S. Army has recovered the wreckage of what they describe as a flying disc. They publicly announced that they have a UFO in their possession, and it's a huge fucking deal.
Yeah, kind of big.
Yeah. Now, got to remember, this
Gonna
is the
be
summer of
huge.
1947.
So huge, so great. It's American. It's an American huge flying disc. Not
we have
Mexican.
the best discs. The best, the greatest discs. I can't do Trump. So, anyway, this is like what, 2.5 weeks after they actually termed the phrase flying saucer. So the country's already buzzing with curiosity, speculation, and fear about these flying objects. But this is an official military confirmation, and that is something completely different. And that same morning, the Roswell Daily Record publishes one of the most famous headlines of the 20th century. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. So the idea of extraterrestrial contact suddenly seems fucking real.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
I'd bet before most people could even get a grasp of it, there was dudes out there that was gluing like pie pans together with fishing line. Throw the fishing line over a freaking power line. Get out there, get a snap of that. Get a snap of that. That probably looks real.
We're not talking about Ed Wood. Anyway.
Wood Jr. Perfect cut print it.
So that is the first time in history the U.S. military had openly stated that it found something not of this world.
Nothing bites like I do.
And this news spread like wildfire, not just across New Mexico, but across the entire world. Newspapers, radio stations, news agencies, they're all clamoring to get more details. People everywhere were talking about this discovery, wondering if this was the moment humanity would finally meet beings from a whole new world. Walter Haut later recounted he had no idea how big the story was going to become, but as soon as the press release went out, phones at the base began ringing off the hook. Reporters, civilians, and even government officials wanted to know more about this so-called flying disc. It was completely off the hook, off the charts. And for a brief moment, it looked like the truth about UFOs, or at least something equally mysterious, was out in the open. And, this is the proof all the people had been waiting for, But as quickly as the story exploded, it was shut down, like the same day.
Okay.
So, July 8th, U.S. military completely backpedaled. the top brass at Fort Worth Army Airfield, quickly stepped in, ordered Major Jesse Marcel to fly the debris to General Roger Ramey, the commanding officer at Fort Worth. So Marcel, following orders, transports this wreckage. And he's thinking, okay, they're going to further analyze this stuff and find out what the hell we're dealing with. But instead, General Ramey immediately squashes the UFO story. And in a matter of hours, Ramey issues a new statement, one that directly contradicts the earlier press release. And he tells the public that this flying saucer wasn't a UFO, but it's a weather balloon. You know, the debris,
of course, yeah.
was part of a conventional weather monitoring device, and the earlier claims of a flying disc were simply a misunderstanding. So, and what Marcel said later on, after he was much older, was that he hauled this shit in there, and he showed it to the general, and the general was like, okay. And then, the general takes him off to, ask him some questions about stuff, and then he brings him back, and in the time that they were gone, all the material they brought, well, it disappeared magically, and in its place was all these remnants of a weather balloon. Mm-hmm. And he says, no, that's it. That's it right there. That's what you saw.
That's the stuff right there. I promise.
Yeah. So the press, they'd been hyped up about this discovery, and now they have this completely different story to run with. So the Fort Worth Star Telegram publishes photographs of General Ramey with Major Marcel posing in what they claim is the debris, this pile of rubber, sticks, and foil. And the military insists that what was found was nothing more than the wreckage of this weather balloon, specifically a radar target from a balloon designed to track weather patterns. And this narrative shift was sudden and absolute, and within 24 hours, this whole UFO thing had been completely dismantled. The new headline printed in newspapers across the country was something like, "Flying saucer turns out to be a weather balloon." But not everyone is convinced.
The first of many.
Yeah. In fact, this reversal left more questions than answer. Like, well, why the fuck did they say that, they'd recover a flying disc, just to say, no, it's not, so quickly? What happened in those hours between the first press release and the new explanation? What's going on here? What's going on? Let's go, Brandon. So I don't know.
They were out there. They were doing great things, and they had the bibbity bobbities and the boobity boos and.
Okay.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what a flying saucer is.
Not bad.
So, needless to say, you understand how my well overused statement came into effect.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I can neither confirm, it's not or, it's nor. Nor deny. In other words,
say either. Yeah.
No comment.
The fifth here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. Talk to the hand. That's where that came from. I don't know if that's true. I can't back that up.
Yeah. So as the official narrative shifted, Major Marcel, who had been the one to first handle the wreckage, was left in a strange position. He later admitted that he didn't believe the weather balloon story. Marcel had held this debris in his hands. He knew it wasn't from a balloon, or at least not any kind of fucking balloon he'd ever seen.
Right.
And according to him, the original material he saw at Brazel's ranch was not what he later was shown with in the picture with the press. And this discrepancy would become a key factor in the belief that the military was hiding the truth. No. So the question now becomes, what's a weather balloon? Or was it a weather balloon? Was it something else entirely? And Todd says, don't even think about it. But this story's, far from over. This goes on for years and years. This is like the 75th anniversary. It was 75 years ago.
It's been a minute.
It is the fucking Energizer Bunny of stories.
Yeah.
Still going.
And I think that's a good place to kill it. And
Isn't that town there still just like everything's UFO or alien in there? It's like a big tourist trap, right? And right through there.
yeah. We'll get into that next episode.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, let's just make this one nice and short. I don't want to fucking kill people with this stuff. And we'll pick it up next week. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Sure, Zach Clinton.
Lindy, you need to shut the fuck up. You talk too much.
I was interested in your story.
Tell me your story. All right.
I just kept thinking every time you said that one guy's name that I was like, isn't that the guy Vince Neil killed when he was drunk?
Brazel?
No, that was the water.
That was Razzle.
Oh no! Oh my God!
That's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, I thought you said Razzle the first time. I was like, no, it's Razzle. Okay.
Damn it, Razzle. This coffee tastes like shit.
Yeah. That's because it is shit.
It's because it is shit. Oh, it's not just me then. All right.
It's a little nutty.
Bit nutty, isn't it? All right.
That
Lindy.
scene makes me sick, dude. Whenever I watch that movie, I'm kind of like, I mean, I've watched a lot of bad stuff, but it bothers me more than Bone Tomahawk.
Lindy, wrap this shit up.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Please listen on Spotify and like, rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes.
Nice job. Matt, do your thing.
Hey, thanks once again for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Nope, we'll see you next Tuesday. Yeah, spar.
Zach.
Lindy.
Fuck off! I'm tired.
Nano, bitches.
Yeah.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you.
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
What's my line, Zach? What's my line?